right, let's do this. Sunday night Chillax live.
What up, everybody? Hello.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Go ahead and say hello in the chat if you're watching. So,
yeah,
but it's a Sunday night. We're going to chill out. We're going to have a drink. We're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I will drop a StreamYard link in the chat if you want to jump on the live panel and talk about something. But looks like Primal Man's going to have him a smoke.
I have a little smoke just to take the edge off.
Yeah. I do want to say Happy Mother's Day. So
thank you, Tony.
Yeah, you're you're welcome. But any mothers out there, Happy Mother's Day. And anybody watching, if you haven't spoke to your mother or wished her a Happy Mother's Day, do it. Okay? Your mom is the one who went through the pain of bringing you into this earth. So go ahead and say hi to your mom. Say hi from Tony Bruno and Primal Man. But if you haven't wished your mom a Happy Mother's Day, go ahead and do it. It's a honorable thing to do. So
yeah.
But yeah, real quick too. I know Primal Man says we're gonna smoke on it sometimes. And just so everybody knows, when we say smoke on it, we don't actually mean smoke on it, like smoke weed, but we mean when we say smoke on it, it actually came from Jesse Lee Peterson.
Jesse, I was going to say, yeah, that's not my own.
Yeah, it means to think about it. You know, I know Jesse will say smoke on it. Not really. You know, that's kind of a funny thing that we like to say, and we always give our respect to Jesse. We'll give that right now.
Amazing.
That's my favorite amazing clip.
That's a good one.
That is a great one. I've never seen him do that before, but I had to clip that. Much respect to Jesse Lee Peterson and the crew there, and Nick Gonzalez and the guys who all work on the show. So, but in case anybody knows Nick Gonzalez, we had a night where he came on. I do have that in one of our live streams from Saturday. It was a great stream. In fact, he said something I've never heard before. And we were talking about porn on his computer, and the first time he saw porn, and he found porn, and then he tried to click off it, and it kept opening up another window, and he called it a pornado. And I've never heard that before. I don't know if anybody else has heard the word pornado, but I thought that was pretty funny. A pornado. So
yeah.
But anyways, yeah. Anybody in the chat too? It is a AUA tonight, not an AMA, but it's an Ask Us Anything. So
anything.
Any questions you have, anything you want to ask us, throw it out there. Don't be afraid. So,
yeah.
But we were talking early, me and you today, Gene, earlier, and you had talked about something Steve the Dean Williams talks about, which is being on your square.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple thing to understand. Being on your square means that, number one, you're standing on something. Number one, you stand for something. You stand on something. And being in your square, I draw the picture in my mind of a literal square, almost like a checkerboard or a chess board. And no one or anything is going to come manipulate me, come shame me, come push me off of my rock, my square, where I stand. And that's kind of how I envision a chessboard. And here I am standing firm on what I believe. So I like that. It's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's sticking to your principles, your values, your mindset, your name. It's all that. And I know Steve talks about that in a lot of detail. And I know we talked about that today. So what's a good example of standing on your square? What would be a good example?
Oh, man, you can go down. You can hit that on many different angles. Well, you can have a religious square. You can have a family square. You can have a relationship square with your wife, girlfriend. other women. You could have a coworker square, a job square. And, you know, you have to, as a man, I think we all recognize that we have to live by a standard, or else we will not be men. And so all aspects of our life, we have squares. So to give an example, I guess would be like, for me, standing on my square. Well, I hate to use that one because we talk about it so much. You know, it could say a work situation where maybe you're asked to do something that doesn't align with your values. And I know, like, maybe your career depends on it, but it doesn't align with your square. Someone's coming to try to shame you or manipulate you off that square. And you say, I'm not going to do it. Stand in your square, don't wear the mask. And that was the exact analogy I was going to use, but I didn't want to bring that up because we talk about it so much. The mask is a square for me. I don't wear one. So that would be my square. No one's going to push me off that unless I step off of it myself. So that's good stuff.
We got Nevin says, just had this talk with my mom today about boundaries. Yeah, that's for sure. That's standing on your square. I think that a lot of moms they don't want to let their baby go. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And
I think that it's a good thing for a mom to let her son or daughter experience the world. Mm-hmm. Let your son or daughter stand on their old square, get their own identity. They can't always come back to mama.
No.
You know? And that's really important. So Nevin, that's cool. I get that. On Mother's Day, that's awesome. I just hope it was a good productive chat. That's for sure.
Yeah, Nevin, I had to draw boundaries with my mom. Luckily now we pretty much agree on almost everything now, so I don't have to draw as many boundaries because I've realized some things recently in the past couple of years or so. But I had a discussion when I was telling Tony about this earlier, I believe. I had a discussion with a friend today, and I told him sometimes we have to draw a line. And he was like, well, wait a second. Can we call it a boundary? I said, absolutely. So a line, if we really look at a line and a boundary, they are, I didn't realize this, but they're different. So if you draw a line, a lot of people may take that as a wall. You can't cross it. It's a barrier. Whereas a boundary is something that can be crossed, and it can also it can come back. It's like an invisible line. And so we clarified that in our discussion, and I said, okay, let's call it a boundary instead of a line, because I think lines can be dangerous, walls can be dangerous, but boundaries are necessary. Mm-hmm. So there's some distinction there. There's a difference between drawing a line and drawing a boundary.
Well, you think of a line or a wall, you can't pass that. You
can't cross it.
Where a boundary, think of a boundary, whether it be a football game or soccer game. You cross that and you're out of bounds. I mean, think of it. It's a boundary. You're out of bounds. But you can come back from that. You can't go through a wall, you know?
Yeah. So. Yeah. And we were just talking about that. And he was under the impression that we're not supposed to judge. And we're not supposed to, like, judge others and things like that. I said, hold on a second. We're not supposed to condemn, but it's healthy that we judge. So I basically explained to him that I can tell someone, here is my boundary, okay? If you cross that boundary, you're going to suffer, but I can't stop you from crossing that boundary. But if you do, you're going to suffer. But I can't say if you cross that boundary, you're dead to me. I mean, I can, but saying that would be condemning that person. So there's some differences there, whereas boundaries will be tested with people. And that square thing is really something to think about. So it's important that as a man, you determine what your square is. It's important that you determine what your I have a hard boundary for one particular thing that can come to mind right now. But most of my boundaries that I have with other people are done in a way where they can be forgiven if crossed, except for a few. And there's only very, very few of those. So I love boundaries. They're necessary. Absolutely necessary. Boundaries.
Let's say hi to a few people here. We got Peg. Good to see you.
Hey, Peg. Yeah, boundaries.
Boundaries, great topic.
We're not necessarily sticking to a topic tonight. Matter of fact, Tony, I think he said it earlier that we're gonna engage with the chat a lot tonight. So we're looking forward to hearing all of y'all's comments.
Nevin says she just went through a divorce, and I've been working with her to see toxic behavior, that healthy boundaries can be used to protect yourself emotionally. Yeah, yeah, it is. But I think I have never experienced this with my mom. I to be honest, I think I have the perfect mom, old school values. But my mom wasn't the type to take any shit from us. That's for sure. She would say, "Wait until your dad gets home. Like then we'll see what happens." And that's all she ever had to say. So Anthony says, "Build the wall."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you set a boundary with somebody, you say you can cross it. Okay. Say the boundary's been crossed so many times. Then do you draw a line in the sand and build a wall?
I will say this. The one wall and the one line that I do have that comes to mind right now, that boundary was tested and I had to make it a wall. Yep. Mm-hmm. I had to make it a wall. Now, if that line's crossed, then that would be the end. Or else it wouldn't be a wall. It'd be another boundary.
One thing we talked about today too, this is when we were talking earlier, was about when somebody does you wrong. A lot of times you don't have to let that person know. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's always important that you bitch out somebody if they did you wrong. A lot of times you just cut them out of your life. I know, like if you look at my Twitter, my Gab, it says, "No one will hold space in my head. I will nothing you." And when I say nothing, it's, I don't love you. I want to say I don't not love you. I don't not hate you, but you are now nothing to me. In a good way. I'm not going to beat you up for something you did with me or did to me. So I think, like when somebody does cross those boundaries that you talk about, especially if it's a friend, like I said, somebody does you wrong. What do you do? Do you, as a contractor, I've had other contractors that worked with me and for me. And when they did me wrong, I didn't bitch at them. They got paid and went on their merry way, but I never used them again. I'm not about to put any of that shit energy into. I don't want to make somebody feel bad, but I also want them to know that they crossed that boundary. They didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they did me wrong. So they get the nothing treatment, I call it. So
not only that, you sometimes you waste a lot of energy trying to like talk to people and tell them, "Hey, look, I didn't appreciate that." Waste a lot of energy. I get that, speak up sometimes, but really more times than that, it's best to just be like, I know where they stand now, and I'm going to keep that in mind, and until they prove me otherwise, that's where they stand. So,
yeah, Anthony made it good. That's a great statement. Put those people on mute. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that.
I think mercy has to be shown, though. I do. So someone that keeps, I'll put it to you like this: someone that keeps crossing a boundary, not a wall, but a boundary or a line. Someone that keeps crossing a boundary, and they know it's your boundary. It just shows a lack of respect if they keep doing it. They keep crossing that boundary, keep crossing it, and you will let them. They're not respecting. They don't respect you. They don't respect your boundaries. Doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that they don't respect you or your boundaries.
Yeah. Nevin says there are people who are energy vampires, and I actually like that phrase, energy vampire. I think that's another kind of buzzword or a buzz phrase that people use too often. There's a lot of those, a lot of my probably most disliked buzzwords, which is negative. You're negative, and that means
toxic.
toxic. That's another one that will just
agree to disagree.
Yeah, agree to disagree. There's another one. But an energy vampire, I think, is somebody who is just looking to get something out of you, and they're just a consistent complainer. So
it's people that consistently complain with no intentions on doing anything about it or improving. We call them negative Nancy's or Debbie Downers. I don't know if y'all ever heard those terms.
Yeah.
People that are miserable and they just don't know any different to, like, people that see a problem and want to overcome the problem don't want anything to do with energy vampires because they're habitually in a cycle of misery and they'll just drain your energy. No fancy way to put that. Agree to disagree. One word that really gets under my skin is partner.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me too. I find myself saying it every now and then.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I think I think in any relationship, I mean, let's bring this into relationships. Let's do that. Men and women. I don't like saying male and female. I prefer men and women.
Same.
But I lost my train of thought. I'm thinking too fast.
You said you don't like to say male, female, but you like men and women. I guess it's more personal.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump into like boundaries in relationships, and I think sometimes those boundaries have to be crossed. Sometimes
for people to learn.
Well, it might be a boundary for your, not your partner, but your
spouse
or your girlfriend. Yeah. And it might be a boundary that you need to cross. Also, too, let's not forget this. Like a boundary for one person is not the same boundary for another person.
Yes.
So you might not think you've crossed that boundary, and you're actually just trying to help that person.
Boy, if men and women realize this is the big difference. This is the big problem between men and women.
Yeah.
They don't realize that we have boundaries that they think is fine, but it's not. It's a problem. And they don't see why we think it's a problem. Yeah. I mean, if we could solve that, we would solve every problem in the world with men and women.
And Andy says, I like men and broad.
Only two genders.
Oh, that's, what's funny is the word broad. That's just so like, just reminds me, when I hear broads, I think of Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. When I hear broads, that's just that word is, it might trigger women, but I think it's an old school, kind of an old school term.
I've only heard old men say it.
That's funny.
But I do like the term.
So, we had talked about this before, and one of the boundaries is that, I think the first thing we gotta realize is that men and women are different. And as men, when there's an issue in a relationship, trying to think where I saw this.
I think where you're getting at, because me and my friend had this conversation today, is conflict. Conflict is a necessary part of life. And without people testing boundaries, conflict is testing boundaries. Mm-hmm. So conflict is necessary. So
yeah, but when there's a conflict, say in whether it be your girlfriend or spouse, and as men, we are fixers. Yep. We are fixers. I can't remember who talked about this too. It was after we had talked about it, but we want to fix the issue now. And men and women process things way different. I mean, we really do. I think women have to kind of take a little time and think about it, where we're like, no, this is going to be fixed now. And that can be a big issue.
Big issue. In any relationship.
Yeah. And I think what happens is a lot of times the man is like, why don't you get it?
Here's the thing. Understand? Yeah. And here's the thing. Women have to feel that something's wrong. They have to feel it, that it's wrong emotionally. Men, we just think. We think it rationally, logically, it's wrong. Women have to feel that it's wrong. And so that may take weeks, for them to be like, oh, ouch. okay, he was right about that, because now I feel the pain. It's like, well, yeah, logically, so logic is faster than emotion. I mean, is it not? Logic is quicker. I mean, you can process a thought faster than you can be like, it's like comes here and then it comes to the heart almost. So logic and then emotion. I mean, it's just something to think on.
I mean, women deal with things emotionally. They really do. And that's okay. That's why we love them, because they deal with things emotionally, where men usually deal with things logically. And again, that's why we want to fix it. We want to fix it now. We don't want to fix it tomorrow in the morning. We don't want to fix it then. It's got to be fixed now. Mm-hmm. And I think if some men realize that, if they just let it go, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a hard learner myself when it comes to that. We talked about on the show, that was a couple of weeks ago, learning life the hard way.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you learn the hard way, it's a better lesson. But don't learn the hard way too much.
That is true.
Lessons the hard way.
That is true. You could either wind up dead or in jail or something.
Yeah, let's see what Anthony says. Broads is very descriptive. If you think about it, just look at their hips. Am I wrong? Yeah. You know what? I wish we had a fact checker right now. Somebody who's watching, fact check this and see where the word broad came from. I'm curious. So,
I feel like it came from England somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it came from England.
Peg said, each help balance the other out, in my opinion. Okay. No, I think that's true. I mean, there is a lot. Let me say something. I want you guys to follow Pat Stedman's channel. I believe I have a description or a link in the description of this channel. And Stedman is just awesome when he talks about, he's big into energy, and it's something that I've really kind of embraced is feminine energy, masculine energy, and just energy in general, vibrations. And when I say vibrations, I'm not trying to get woo-woo on anybody, but vibration means if you vibe with somebody. Think about that word. You're vibing with somebody. And people know when they're vibing with somebody.
I could be wrong about this, but I feel like women can resonate with that a lot, with vibrations. I feel like they can resonate with Pat Stedman's breakdown of that. And I feel like women can make sense of a lot of things when he talks about that. Mm-hmm. So the ladies that are watching, maybe Pat Stedman can shed some clarity on why, because a lot of women feel things. They don't know why they feel it, but they feel it. Maybe they want to make sense or rationale of the emotions, but they don't know how. Maybe Pat Stedman can break down certain situations for you. So I'm just saying, the ladies might resonate with them. I'm very I try to keep things extremely simple, extremely black and white, unless for sake of discussion, and then I'll go into whatever. But personally, for my own life, I like things to be pretty much black and white.
I just had a beautiful woman send me a text message. She must be watching. That she sent me the definition of broad.
Okay.
A female companion, a woman of loose morals. Wow.
What?
Broad is derived from the far-fetched metaphor of meal ticket, signifying a female provider for a pimp.
What the?
From the fanciful correspondence of a meal ticket to a railroad or other ticket. Wow. I never knew that.
Sounds like it originated in the West, the Wild West.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you for that. You know who you are. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, I don't think it's a very flattering term.
No, I just it's for me, it's something like growing up, like I said, like watching the old Ed Sullivan Show or something like that, or old movies. Here, see this broad over here.
Exactly.
That's kind of what it. Just that word is just funny, and it's funny because really, Anthony Velasquez is the first time I've heard that word in a long time. I believe he has a conference that he's doing called Frauds and Broads.
Oh God, don't get him started in the comment
Yeah.
section.
Yep.
Hey, pal, you know where you can find any beautiful broads?
Let's see what Anthony says. I think that's a derogatory definition of broad. Okay.
I guess Anthony has his own personal definition. That's cool too.
Yeah.
When he referred to hips, okay, I can work with that.
I guess I have my own private spell checker here, and hang on here. I'm just looking. Sorry.
You'll have to give it a wrench, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, if she's in the chat, she'll get a wrench. But anyways, yeah. So anybody who's watching right now, if you guys have any questions, go and throw them out there, because it's Ask Us Anything. And I mean that. Ask us anything. Don't be afraid. There's no topic that we can't breach. So
here's my thing. I know what people out there have issues that they're dealing with. So let us know. We're curious. I'm curious. I think Tony is too. Let us know what's going on. Yeah, I married abroad.
Well, wait. Does that mean you married overseas? Because that's what it could mean also. I married abroad.
Abroad.
Yeah, once in my lifetime, pal, I married abroad. Never again. Stay away from broads.
But yeah, let us know what's going on. We want to engage with y'all. So y'all have a problem you're dealing with, something you're sort of like trying to weigh out, let us know if you want to. I'm curious. I want to know what people are dealing with, except for Anthony's broads.
As soon as it comes up in the chat here it is. This is just, Nevin says, I love my wife. She gives great headache. That's a good one. I'm going to use that, man. I appreciate that. That is just funny. Well, that's what it is tonight. It's Sunday night chillax, just kind of chilling. I didn't do a live stream last night. I was busy, and but I just wanted to see my regular people, my buddies, my friends, and just kind of relax with everybody tonight. I know tomorrow's a work day, so it is a little late here, but this is what we're doing tonight. I do want the people watching to engage, so go ahead and drop any questions you have. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. And if anybody wants to come on live, let me know, and I'll drop the link in the chat. In fact, I'll do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and pin that. So,
yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's go ahead and pin that right now. I'm going to pop that in the chat.
Speaking of problems, I noticed that people's problems are kind of not everyone has the same problems, but people that do have the same issue, they pretty much reap the same type of issues. For what I'm saying is like someone that has a problem with, I don't know, you say your girlfriend's crossing a boundary versus another guy that's having the same problem of a girlfriend crossing a boundary. They're both dealing with the same type of outcomes. It's like the same outcome. Different situations, but the same outcome. And I noticed this a lot across the board with really important issues such as like broken families, fatherless boys, fatherless girls. The outcomes are usually all the same. I just find that intriguing because we're complex people, we're complex human beings in a complex world, but yet a lot of things are relatively simple. If we can just figure out how to do it. If we figure out how to do it, I feel like we can solve a lot of problems. And the outcomes will be the same in that regard as well. So that's kind of why I'm more black and white now, kind of follow a step 1, step 2, step 3 kind of thing now. And it has a lot to do with God, in my opinion. But I feel like if we do that, we'll solve most people's problems. I feel like all our problems are the same. I don't know why I went off on that tangent, but
no, they are, and that's one of the reasons why we're here is so we can talk about it. And I want people to go ahead and open up and go ahead and talk about things.
Yeah,
because
people
talk about it. Like Ivan Throne says, when the talking stops, the shooting starts, and that means as men, as whether it's it's man to man or you're in a relationship. When the talking stops, the shooting starts. Think about that statement. So
yeah, and people are going through very similar stuff that you may be going through right now, and I just feel like there is a cookie cutter solution, like a one size fits all solution.
mm-hmm.
I do. I feel like the solution will work across the board for most people if we can just figure out the solution and people are open to applying the solutions. So, with that being said.
Well, Nevin says, I think that's a Dangerfield line. This one, I love my wife. She gives great headache. That's hilarious, man. I love that. I think of Rodney Dangerfield. I called my wife on the phone the other day, and I said, I was thinking about the last time we made love. She said, who is this? I don't know if any of you guys get that. So
Anthony says, I will stop calling women broads from now on and start using dames. Is dames short?
Well, we need a fact checker. We need to know where dames came from.
Well, is that short for damsel?
It might be. Yeah.
Damsel in distress.
Want to fact check that? Let's get it out there. Fact check that for me and see where the word dames came from. Yeah. Yeah. Anthony, you're showing your age, buddy, and that's all right.
He's a well-read man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's just a chill night tonight, guys. So feel free to engage in the chat. Ask us anything. Ask anything you want. Let's go back to when the talking stops, the shooting starts. Let's talk about man to man. What that means is if you have an issue with somebody, and I've had some people have issues with me. Somebody talked some shit about me the other night on a stream. Actually, it was last night. It was late. I watched, and I'm like, or actually, I watched it this morning. But it's like, dude, if you got an issue with me, and it's just people really what it is to me, it's projection is what it is. But if you got an issue with me, be a man, call me on the phone, and talk to me about it. If you want to go on a public forum and debate, let's fucking do it. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with debating anyone.
Yeah.
I know in this whole umbrella, we have so many things, so many pills, black pill, red pill. I think that the pill you need to take is the consistent pill, and don't lose your identity when you join a group. And I've noticed that about a few people that I know, and a couple in particular. It's like your identity is gone. You took on the identity of this group. You no longer have an identity. You're a sheep, and that's the truth. So if anybody has an issue with me, reach out to me. Don't be a pussy. Call me, and if you want to talk shit about me, talk shit to my fucking face. So.
Speaking of identity, it's a big rabbit hole because when I say guys, I say what is the graduation point when a boy becomes a man? And we talk about identity. Like, you ever heard people say, came into my own as a man? It wasn't until like, say, 25 or 30 that I came into my own as a man. What is it that causes someone to say that? It's identity. You found your identity as a man. And we talk about beta males and alpha males, but all these beta males, I can't figure out a better term to call them, but they're just weak guys. They don't have, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful, derogatory way, but they don't have an identity.
Well, what it is they look for a group to claim their identity is what it is.
That's true.
And you'll see people go from one end of the spectrum to the other very quickly because all of a sudden you have to claim this identity to have this group accept you. Now, I'm a big believer in philosophy. Philosophy is the search for truth, wisdom, and there's all sorts of philosophies, ideologies, theories. And theory, they are what they are. So a theory is in fact, here, my fact checker just sent me dame. Dame is, oh, wow, look at this. This is crazy. Latin domina, Old French dame. Middle English, denotating a female ruler. Wow. Via from Old French, Latin, domina, mistress. Okay. So there's a couple things. So thank you, fact checker. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So,
do you feel as men we need an identity? Is it necessary that we have an identity as a man?
well, I think that's a great rabbit hole, because as men, we are very tribal. We are tribal, and you like to be a part of a tribe.
Gives us identity, right?
Yeah, but when you're part of a tribe, that's not your identity.
No,
it's not. And I think in this umbrella of the manosphere, I think what happens is guys want to be something that they're not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very big on self-improvement. I'm very big on being the best version of yourself, but be the best version of yourself. Don't be the best version of that identity that you took on, because that's not real. That's not real in you. So when somebody tells you this is the way it is, this is the truth, you grab that identity. What you're doing is you're really looking for validation from that group, from that tribe.
And that's effeminate to look for validation as a man. And I think that stems from daddy issues. I really do. It's seeking the approval of the feminine. And these guys that don't, I guess, haven't had a father to maybe help guide them in the proper identity, have always seeked for validation or approval from their mothers, and then they may or may not get that. And once they grow older, they're still seeking approval. They're still seeking an identity. They've never found their identity. That's why we get frustrated at some of these guys, and we think, "You're a man. Like, what's your deal?" It's because they don't have an identity. And I don't mean to be mean or hateful towards them, by no means. It's a reality for them, and they're confused, and that's why they become, they have nothing to stand on. They don't have a square because they have no identity.
Yeah, what they're doing is they're standing on someone else's square, is what it is.
Oh yeah, someone's got them propped up, probably.
Yeah. Again, if somebody's got an issue with me, come to me.
Social.
Be a fucking man and come to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. SJWs, these social justice groups tend to take beta males and prop them up and try to give them. They gravitate towards these little groups for identity, and these groups prop them up, and only to betray them. They care nothing about your masculine identity. They want to destroy that. I just got into a deep rabbit hole with someone today about fathers. Mother's Day is today, but I was able to discuss a whole lot more about fathers with this person. And I think if the world knew how vital fathers were, like truly knew how vital we are, and it's way more than just going out to work, coming home to your wife and kids and putting food and clothes on the table and providing for them in a traditional role. It's way more than that. I think with a father, and I know this is another rabbit hole, but it's so true, and I'm passionate about this in a passionate, quote unquote. But it's so important that your kids can trust you. If you're a dad out there, a father out there, or soon to be father, your kids have to trust you with everything. If you wonder why your kids lie to you, it's very obvious. They don't trust you. And if they don't trust you, they're going to go find someone else that you're probably not going to like, that they're going to trust, but they won't trust you. So if your kids lie to you, you need to reconsider and reestablish a bond with them some kind of way. But fathers are crucial to giving their sons identity.
Yeah, Kevin makes a statement, or Nevin, sorry. Bulldog talks about, and I love John's son, Mez.
Yeah, I like it too.
I really do. I like John a lot. I know he's taken a lot of heat in the whole manosphere war, we'll call it right now. But John is a good guy, and I do appreciate him. He's a friend of mine. But give me more context on that, Nevin. I'm not sure. Killing your father.
I've heard John talk about this before. I need my memory refreshed, but I think it sort of means like being your own man and not hanging on the coattail of your dad your dad's legacy. If that's the case, I feel like I disagree with that to some extent, because I don't even know if some of these young men have fathers to kill. They don't have any fathers to even kill.
Yeah, we need some more context on that, Nevin. So if you wanna put something in there, that's great, and we can address that. Let me address Peg here. Peg says off topic, but a heartfelt question. How as men would you respond to a budding relationship to not long after being newly diagnosed with stage 4 cancer? Peg, that is a deep question. I guess it depends on, to me, it would depend. I would never discard somebody because they had cancer or somebody was ill. I would never do that. But it is a tough one. It's a tough one for any type of relationship. So
honestly, tragedy like that, as a man, in my opinion, would make me want to do more for that person as a man.
Anthony says, Peg, are you asking about getting into a relationship with someone diagnosed with stage 4 cancer? Yeah. So
yeah, I'm wondering that too.
Yeah.
How as men would you respond to a budding relationship to not long after being newly diagnosed with stage 4 cancer?
I mean, I'll give you my answer on that. If I was engaged with somebody, and not like engaged, but engaged in a new relationship, and you actually give a crap about that person. Yeah. Well, here we go. Here's your answer right here.
Okay, I see what she's saying.
He is the one with cancer. Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Just know that he ain't gonna make it. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Maybe if you love this person, or whatever the situation is, you love this person, enhance his life. Whatever he has left, enhance his life, and pray that he's healed. If you believe in God, pray.
But also verify too. In other words,
yeah.
I don't want to seem nihilistic here and really mean, but make sure that is not a kind of a false flag to draw you in. So,
I'm thinking it's not. I'm thinking it's definitely not.
On this show, we don't do pity. We don't pity people. That's for sure. I'm along the lines of what Ivan Throne says, is we don't do pity. I don't think anybody wants to be pitied,
Yeah, I would say if you feel pity towards him, you feel like you have to continue the relationship because he told you that he had cancer, that's a good question. I would say if it's coming from pity, then you need to reconsider that if it's out of pity. But if you really want the relationship to bud, and he says that he has stage 4 cancer, just know that without a miracle, he's probably going to die. But I would say enhance his life to the best of your ability.
Mm-hmm.
While the time that he does have, and love him with all your heart and everything that you can give him while he's still here. And just be willing to accept the reality that when he does pass, that's something you're going to have to live with also.
I mean, there was one thing that my dad had said to me today, which made a lot of sense, is that your time is valuable. You can't get time back.
That's it.
And that hit me hard today because, I think about relationships that I've been in and things like that. So I think about I don't want to waste time, sometimes you have to let somebody go. So, and it's not personal, but it's something that your time is valuable. Your time on this planet's valuable. So you have to make that decision. So
Peg just dropped a comment, and this is good. Let me take this one, Tony, if you don't mind. Praying for sure. Been to the doctors with him. Not pity, but I think God has put me in his life for a reason. My husband passed of cancer almost 3 years ago. So I'm going to put it to you like this. I believe that God has put you in his life for a reason. So give everything you can to him. In your ability, give everything you can to him. because you're in his life for a reason, and there's no reason why you couldn't or shouldn't. And it will be a blessing to you as well. I believe that. So I believe you'll benefit from this as well. That's a tough situation. I don't think anybody is prepared for that though. Yes, Abel, you can ask anything, buddy. Anything. Even if you're a troll, but go for it.
Yeah, even if you're it's funny you say that, but I was thinking that too. So there is a StreamYard link that's pinned to the top. So if anybody does want to join, feel free to jump on if you've never been on a live panel, go ahead and do it tonight. So
I want to say one more thing to Peg too. Nobody can intellectually, logically prepare for something like that. You can't rationale that kind of situation. You can't, but you can be present. You can't rationale your way out of that. So, yeah, Peg, no regrets. Yeah, I think you're doing the right thing, Peg, and I'm glad you're here. She's been coming on my show too, and I told Gonzo at the end of the show, I really like having Peg on. I said, when the women are staying to the final ending hour, I said, you know, you're doing something right. So, I'm glad to have Peg here, and much blessings to you, Peg. I appreciate you as well.
yeah, I mean, you know what? Helping somebody is not a bad thing.
Oh, I mean, what really matters in life, really,
Well,
you know?
How do you feel about nut shots blowing up and growing large? I have no issue with it. Why would I care about that? I mean, I think if somebody, if somebody is doing something well, and that's fine. I have no issue. I don't harbor anything bad for anybody, I considered Marty a friend of mine, so again, I have no issues with anybody. If somebody wants to reach out to me, hey, reach out to me. That's cool.
I got a question, Abel. Why do you care why do you care what we think about that?
Yeah.
Why do you care that we think about that? What we think about that? That's my question to you. Maybe you can answer that. Why do you care what we think about that? I'm just curious. Let's make Pegs great again. He's been a blessing to me also, yeah. Think you're doing the right thing, Peg. Keep at it. Keep going.
Yeah, I'll give you guys an example. I mean, I've dated someone recently, and I know that she had some medical issues, and I had thought about, like in a relationship, and you got to think about that, and if it's somebody, if you care about them, you're not going to let those little things, I don't want to say little things, but a lot of those things should be really a part of it when you do care about somebody. But so if somebody has a medical issue or something like that, and you're getting into relationship, I mean, I'll deal with, this is kind of the reason when Peg said that, I was kind of thinking about, something in my own personal life, but I don't think that I would be the kind of person that would just say, okay, you have an issue and I'm gone. That's not something I would do.
Well, I have a question for you. We'll flip the tables here. Tony, you're married or you're dating a girl and you're in a committed relationship, let's say, and you become paralyzed, or paraplegic from the waist down, let's say.
Had to be waist down, huh?
Yeah, okay. We'll say shoulder, neck down. So neck down, waist down. Neck down, that was funny. I realized, I figured you'd call me out on that one. You're paralyzed, neck down. Would you tell her, hey, look, I understand, I'm going to need care for the rest of my life. Go find someone that's not a paraplegic.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If you're married, I think that it is your duty by God to So
you would say she's gonna take care of my paraplegic ass to the day I die.
Damn straight. Yeah.
I can respect that. I feel like a lot of people have thought about this.
The thing is, I know that if I really cared about somebody, I would do the same. There would be no, so there'd be no question on that. That's just me. But here it is. Want your opinion since he's calling out 21 Studios. That's up to him, man. That's, I don't, this is what you got to understand, Abel, is that somebody can call out whoever they want, but again, we got to go back to that. Anybody can say anything they want and talk shit on YouTube. You can lie. You can do whatever you want. Not saying he's lying, but I don't have an issue with him. Again, if he has an issue with me, hey, come and talk with me. But that's what men do. But I find that some men are unable to do that because they have no backbone. They have no fucking spine. And that's the reality of being a man. If you have an issue with somebody, call them up and talk to them. That's what I do. If anybody wants to, talk shit about me, call me and talk to me. You can reach me, not an issue. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at T21Surfer. That's Instagram and Twitter. My DMs are open. So if anybody wants to talk to me, hit me up. Don't be afraid. So he says he has no backbone. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that.
Tony, I think at this point we should just ignore this guy.
No, that's all right. I don't mind addressing it. No, I like Marty. I like Marty. I don't have an issue with him.
Dude,
if he has an issue with me or 21 Studios, if he has an issue with me or 21 Studios, the whole thing is fucking drama. It's like
Abel, dude.
I'm gonna say this about the person. Yeah. So go ahead and say whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. No, me anyway. I don't let people live in my fucking head, Abel. And I think it's something that I don't even know if that's an avatar. That's really you. But if he has an issue with anybody, I think that most people, especially in this space, I find that people are so afraid to talk to each other. They'd rather talk shit. Again, my DMs are open always. So if anybody has any issue with me, you can contact me. I don't avoid conflict. Absolutely.
Yeah. What Tony said, and also too, man, look.
If he's angry, that's on him. That's not on me. So
yeah.
Let me say hi to
you're caring about something. You're caring about.
Let me say hi to Timmy Cramer. Timmy, how you doing, buddy, man? Good to see you. I love this guy. John Boston, brother. Yeah.
Hey.
John Boston is the newest rent, so you guys be careful.
Look out.
So
yeah.
Let's see. Marty is on a mission. I think it's misguided, but I like Marty. Yeah. So yeah, I don't, whatever. It's all right, man. It's cool. I don't, I'm not going to go on here and bash anybody.
The thing is, these guys, people are going to jump out and call out whoever. I can make a video calling anybody out. I mean, who cares? Don't worry about that stuff, Abel. Like seriously, that's some silly stuff, bro. That's some feminine stuff. To care about that, don't care about that.
Yeah,
people have intentions one way or the other, and it doesn't really matter. Focus on important stuff. That's what matters.
Yeah. Let me just say something. If you're a man and you have an issue with somebody, like I said, there's certain times where I talked about this earlier, where I will nothing you, but I'm not going to attack you unless you really attack me. But then again, most of the time that shit, rolls off my back. I don't care. It doesn't concern me,
True story. Yeah.
So
we're getting a lot of comments here now. Yeah. Lindy.
Yeah. There's one thing too, Abel mentioned something. He seems mad. Well, let me tell you something about anger. Anger can be a tool in your toolbox, but don't live in anger.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be a nihilist. Don't be a angry person. It's not going to. Let me tell you what anger does. Anger and all that crap, it causes cancer in people. It kind of I'm trying to think how to put this. It basically will take over your body. Things that are mental really can become part of your body, your physical. So don't let anybody do that. That's why I say nothing people. You don't have to love them, you don't have to hate them, but just nothing them.
Don't hold on to stuff.
Yeah, don't hold on. There'll be a time in your life when you'll have to come back. If somebody comes back to you and wants to reconcile, hey, that's great. You can accept it or not accept it. But, as men, the main thing we have to do, and I'll go back to what I say, is when the talking stops, the shooting starts. And that's man to man in relationships. That's the reality. When you do not talk things out, that's when all the bullshit starts.
Yeah. Abel, ask us another question that's not pertaining to drama between men.
Yeah. Abel, I appreciate you. I do appreciate you. You're not angering anybody. Trust me.
Thanks for the comments and questions, though. We're here to answer anything.
And John Boston says, Tony, on our men's team, if you have an issue with another man, we call it having a list on somebody, and you have to clear your list with that man, or you will not be trusted by the other men on the team. Yeah, that's cool. I get that. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Let me. John Boston says, disease of the mind causes disease of the body. Yeah. I'm gonna put up Timmy Cramer's comment here. Life is too short to have to deal with anger. Laughter is the best solution. You guys, if you go to my Instagram, follow Timmy Cramer. You can find him on my Instagram. One of my followers, and I follow him also. But this is a very, very positive guy. He's living a real, we'll call it a free agent lifestyle. We've chatted on private messaging, and he's a good guy. I know he lives in California, but a good guy. And but I love his positive attitude on life. I really do. I think he's he's living a genuine. I don't want to throw a pill in there, but he's probably living one of the most genuine red pill lifestyles that I've seen. There's one thing I do want to say to Timmy Cramer is that I love your posts. I love, all the different things that you put out there on Instagram. I consider you a brother, and I've never met you in person. Hopefully I'll meet you in 21 in October, which would be awesome. That's the 21 convention. But I do appreciate you. So I want to let you know that. So yeah, there it is. Yeah, he always signs out with that. Even when we do a private message, I am the forever bachelor. Yeah, man, you are. And that's cool. That's something that you chose. And everybody's got to we'll say go their own way. And if that works for you, man, that's fucking awesome. I'm happy for you. So, but yeah.
Ask away. Ask questions.
Yeah. So throw out anything. It's ask us anything tonight.
Not only ask us stuff, tell us some things you're dealing with right now. Tell us some issues if you want to share them. What are some things you're thinking about, smoking on, as we like to say? What are some things that you want to correct or something you want to address? Share it with us. We want to know.
Yeah. We're going to smoke on it tonight.
I'm wanting to smoke right now.
Yeah, I don't have a pipe. I have a vape. It's a Virginia tobacco. So I don't want to. I have the doors closed, and I'm in Florida, so the AC is on.
Yeah,
and,
can't do that.
Yeah, so. But I'm going to smoke on it right now.
So yeah, Abel, ask us another question. Peg, John, Johnny Cramer, Timmy.
Yeah, Abel.
His name is.
Abel, I do appreciate your questions, but I don't harbor hard feelings toward anybody. So I still consider Marty a friend of mine, whether he whatever. But I don't. If somebody has an opinion or a thought on something and they want to express it, I think the best thing you can do is reach out to that guy first before you go public. So, yeah, Timmy says, question, why don't more men talk about issues amongst other men? Not enough discussions in society. Man, I can so agree with you on that.
Probably a few different reasons. I would say go to a cigar lounge to find more trustworthy men. But the fact of the matter is we can't trust each other anymore. Brothers and men, and we can't trust each other to have these discussions because we just can't. You know, we have to find guys that we can trust and then hash it out and then hope to attract more guys that are interested, maybe on the side, maybe just in the comment section. But it's hard to trust other men. Maybe that's a reason why. But we're addressing men's issues, and as long as we're here, we will be handling it. So someone's doing the job, you know.
Yeah. I think one thing under this umbrella of the manosphere is that we get caught up in labels here, and I don't want to label myself as anything. I want to label myself as a man, and that's it. And this is the issue, Timmy. The reason I call him Timmy because that's his name, but Johnny Cramer. But one of the hardest things a man can do is to reach out to another man because you don't want to seem weak. So for me, when people reach out to me, okay, which I do appreciate everybody, especially in the past, since the beginning of the year, a lot of people have reached out to me on my private messages on Instagram and Twitter. It's T21 Surfer. And I appreciate all of you. Anybody who reaches out to me, everything is private. It will, you know, but I don't give advice. I give support. So one thing I can tell guys is if somebody's reaching out to you, try not to give that guy advice because what he's really looking for is a shoulder and an ear. Yeah, exactly. So support him, but don't tell him what to do because at that time he might not be ready to take that heart punch or, you know, support is a very big thing in a men's community. So Peg says, what have you heard? You know, it's funny when I saw this, I think that's one of the communities where they say they have the highest rate of
STDs.
STDs, yeah.
How did I guess?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the Villages. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I wouldn't recommend moving there, just saying. At least don't sit on a toilet seat there. So.
Wow.
Yeah. He says, thank God there is a men's community on the YouTube. Yeah, it is good. But again, be careful, guys, man. When you're in this space, be careful. You know, verify who you're listening to and watching. You know, that's why we got a big purge. In fact, if you haven't watched the 21 Studios video of Andrew Tate that just came out, watch that. Go to 21 Studios. It's the most recent video. It was streamed at 8 o'clock tonight. Incredible interview. I was there live. I took the trip down and met Andrew Tate. Gentleman, absolutely, you know, much respect to Andrew Tate. What a great guy. It was really good to meet him and hang out with him, but very genuine. So, yeah. So check that out. And he does a lot of things for men. He really does. They had a War Room Summit, it's called. And the War Room is guys that do all sorts of things, physical fitness, make money. But it's a whole network for men. So yeah, check out the War Room, Tate's War Room. So let's say hi to Emmanuel. So,
hey, Emmanuel, what's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Hey, hope you're well. Yeah.
Peg says, hello, Ireland. Yeah. That's our MIGA. Make Ireland great again. So, yeah. Abel says, do you guys fish? Actually, I live just across from the beach, and I haven't fished in probably – I did a little fishing, we'll say, at the end of last summer when, you know, things were just kind of crazy here. So, but yeah, I fish. What about you?
Yeah, definitely fish. My hometown is big on fishing. It's one of the they call it one of the best places in the world for fishing. So yeah, I grew up around it. Yes, I do fish. Not often anymore, but I do.
Yeah, you got Timmy says YouTube kicked me off months ago under Timmy Cramer. Okay. That's funny. Peg says, "Oh my God, my sister-in-law is looking into living there." Oh, damn. Well,
I don't think it's just there though. I think it's pretty much everywhere.
yeah.
I've heard that it's pretty common amongst assisted living facilities.
Anthony says, "I think the Redco War about what we do with our baloney pony or what conference we might go to is a waste of time. What say you?"
I think it's been addressed already 100,000 times.
Yeah, I mean, I think a purge is good. A purge is good in any community. I don't care. I don't like phonies or fakes. I've said this before on my stream. I have nothing to fucking hide. Nothing.
Here's my thing. It's purging, and it's not going to stop purging until we get down to like the root issues here. And you know where I stand, Tony. And I feel like if I drop my red pill, that we could probably just end the show because I don't think there's much to discuss too much about it at that point. I think it comes back. It all comes down to is the purge is when we do things on our own terms. It's not going to be authentic. When we do things by our own standards, we're gonna get led astray. We're gonna chase these effeminate passions, and I think that's what leads us astray. And I think that's why the purge has been ignited, is because it's catching fire. These guys that have been caught up in these passions and these maybe big channels or whatever, and they're burning, getting purged now, for lack of better words. But I think it's all gonna come back down to God. I do. I think the God pill is going to be the only pill left, I think, at the end of the purge. I do.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's authenticity, and also I think anybody on YouTube, there is a point of transparency. There's certain transparency that you need to be when you're on a channel, when you're doing something like this, especially a lot of these bigger content creators.
I mean, look, let's face it, PUA is dead, right?
Yeah.
PUA is done. We've already established it's not about the women anymore. Just listen to Steve the Dean. They'll say, okay, then what is it about the man now? It's not about the sex. It's not about the woman. So it must be about the man. So where are we at now? Is it about the man? Well, we can go from there. It's like, oh, well, a lot of men are confused when they watch content creators. They get more confused. So then what? Now what do we do? What's left? Okay, Christianity and God. I mean, that's just the way I see it sometimes. I've been through all three stages. I'm not trying to say anything about myself or anything.
We can go straight back to be careful who you watch, but verify them. Again, authenticity is very important. If somebody's preaching shit to you, they better be living it in their lives. Now, transparency is a different thing. When you're transparent, okay, when I say transparent, there's certain things in your life that you don't. Everybody has had life lessons. So you can be transparent to a point, So if somebody has a nasty skeleton in their closet, you might want to expose that to your public, to your viewing audience. But there's certain subtle transparencies that you don't need to do. But be authentic. If you're preaching something, you damn sure better be living that life. And that's really important to me.
That's true.
That's why I think a purge is very necessary.
If not, at least working towards it, Yeah. Interesting stuff. I just feel at the end of the day, all these men are going to come back and to say, man, we're confused.
John Boston has a great, and I got to agree with you. PUA is in recession. For anybody that doesn't know what PUA means, pickup artist. I never understood that when I came into this, the manosphere. I never understood, because I'm old school. I never understood how a guy couldn't meet a woman. It's like, how is that possible? But there's also a lot of things that I'm hearing now, like because I'm 5'7", 5'8", I should meet no women at all. Because I have a shaved head, I should meet nothing, zero. And I do meet very attractive women all the time. So we also talk, there's a lot of talk about game. To me, game is, I don't think I agree with with the manosphere definition of game, game is just knowing how to talk to a woman and being able to talk to a woman. That's my version of game.
But my thing is this: talk to women where? At the bar? What kind of women are we talking to?
But I just mean like just
but
when you meet somebody, I'm not talking about a bar, but when you just meet somebody, knowing how to interact and converse.
Here's my thing. You talk to a woman at a bar differently than you would talk to a woman in church. Like a real Christian woman. I'm not just talking about a fraud. I'm talking about a real Christian woman. Would the same game, let's say, work with a Christian woman in church the same way it would work with a woman at a bar? So
yeah, but let's not get game confused. Game is not, you don't adjust your game according to where you are. And I think that's an issue with guys. In other words, hang on here. Let me.
I just think that, first of all, I want to say a lot of these content creators, there's a lot of truth in their message.
I'm gonna leave you for just talk. I'm gonna leave you for a minute. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say there's a lot of truth in these content creators, but there's also a lot of deception, and it's not. I don't think it's necessarily on purpose, but I do believe that the heart is deceitful, and so it just confuses a lot more people. And I would also say that a lot of this game, a lot of this how to talk to women, and a lot of this kind of stuff is okay. It's cool. There's some truth to it, but we're teaching men how to play a broken game better, and that's my problem. The game is the game, right? Life, the order, I should say, the order is broken. We're teaching men how to talk to women in a broken order, and we're just finding ways to do that better. And to me, that's not the way to fix it. It's the way to fix it to get temporary results. I mean, you can go out there and have a lot of fun, but it's not addressing the actual problems. And I think that's what's leaving a lot of men confused, is that they're being taught to play a broken game better. And when things start working out for them, but then they work out and they keep working out, and then they realize, they get to a point and they say, wait a second, the game's broken. I'm just winning at a broken game, and I don't even want this anymore. And then they go look for something else. So it's a kind of a process of awakening, but that's my thing. And I just really want to emphasize that, is that a lot of times these content creators, I'm not trying to rip at any particular person. I'm just saying the red pill theory in general, in a lot of ways, it's true, but it's teaching guys in game in a lot of ways. It's teaching men how to talk to women in a broken order. And it took me a long time to realize that. I didn't just come up with this.
I don't give advice often, but I'm going to give some advice now. If you want game, and my version of game is just speaking, talking. Talk to more women.
Mm-hmm.
The more women you talk to, the more you get to understand.
Yeah. Just like you would. Yeah.
That's the reality. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have social anxiety, but you can have social anxiety talking to your mom, or your friend. So the more you talk, the more you exercise personality skills and things like that, you'll get better at that as well. So that's true too. That's pretty fundamental. But the techniques and theories, like we like to say from Dr. Shawn T. Smith, his video theories, the theories are helping us play a broken game better. And I'll probably say that more down the road. Maybe people are going to hate me for saying that, but that's just that's my square. That's the point that I'm at right now in the manosphere, in my view of all these things. And this is just me. No hate, no disrespect. It's just me. Just my square. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking to women, stand on your square.
Mm-hmm. We're getting some questions here too.
Am I seeing them here? Well, Anthony says, is it wrong to sweet talk these broads in the church parking lot? No, absolutely not.
It depends. If you just rolled up and they got out of church, probably.
Yeah. Yo, what up, church?
The question though, were you in church also?
Yeah.
So.
Hey, give me some fine church broads.
Anthony, the church broads are closet drunks or have other issues. That's what I see, and it's sad. Some are born-again virgins out of a 10-year marriage. No, you can't get a peace leave fax on them. How about the word, which I'm sure she meant
Moxie.
instead of game. Moxie, courageous spirit, and determination, perseverance. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moxie.
PUA guys calling them for dating advice, pick up in crypto. It was so funny because prior to being on YouTube, I don't think these guys had a checking account. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I'll give advice tonight. My advice is if you're a guy out there and you're having a problem talking to women, talk to more women. That's all. You know, there's nothing wrong with flirting. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not a there's so many terms that I've learned, you know, choosing signals, game. I mean, this stuff I don't want to say it's new to me within the past 4 years. But again, when I entered this space, it's like, really? Okay. Gotcha. And again, what happens is that a lot of these theories will put you in a bad place. So
I think these guys need to know what intentions is everything. When you go to talk to someone, especially a woman, what are your intentions? What are you trying to do? Why do you want to talk to that woman? Establish your intentions. And you either can or you can't do that. You know,
there's a lot of talk about like things like cold approach. Cold approach is, I think it's more like when you just see a woman, you go up and just talk to her. That does take a lot of balls. 9 out of 10 times, probably you get shut down unless you're, Chad Jesus or somebody like that. But and I get that, but I think that cold approach is mistaken a lot of times for warm approach, which means somebody, or you were somewhere and you had made eye contact, or you bumped into somebody and you casually said hello. And then to me, that's like a warm approach. There's already an opening, but the main thing I believe in is honesty. Make your intentions well known. So, and don't be afraid to do that.
I think a lot of guys too are concerned with being creepy, and that's a real concern.
Well, you can be fucking creepy real quick.
You can be creepy, and I think what makes guys creepy is not being discerning of their environment. So, for example, now let's just say you see a really cute waitress, right? And she's super busy and you really want to talk to her or whatever. Think of like the timing in this. Don't try to stop her when she's got like a tray in her hand. Of course you're going to get rejected. She's trying to, wait till she's got a moment or say something that you like about her, but wait till the right opportunity. Don't, timing is key too. Timing is everything. Timing and intention, knowing your environment. You're not going to go to a bar and invite some girl to your church. That would be creepy. You wouldn't go to a church and invite some girl home for a one-night stand. That would be creepy. So you got to know your settings.
But I think that's the context of your setting.
Your settings and intentions.
Yeah.
Your intentions and your setting. And you got to be able to discern.
Stop staring.
Stare. I love staring. I love staring at people. I stare at everybody.
But I mean, don't stare at a woman. That freaks me out. Jesus.
Yeah.
I love this right here because he's old school like me. I miss the days of great house parties. Social media is destroying culture. I couldn't agree with you more. Social media is a validation whorehouse, we'll call it. Content creators, people on their Instagrams, they get a dopamine hit off likes. They get a dopamine hit off somebody that, is a content creator and comments to them, will respond to their comment. But social media is it's brutal right now. And let me tell you something, just so people know, for me to understand like why men and women are having a hard time, men especially here, having a hard time meeting a woman. And a lot of it, I had to realize that social media is a really big factor in that equation, because what happens is that women are validated much more than men are on social media. They have, and I do believe in, if nobody's heard of a beta orbiter, it's the guy that's waiting to take his shot, just waiting, just orbiting. He's friend zoned right now, but he's waiting to take that shot. And that's just sad. That's sad in my opinion, But a lot of women have these beta orbiters. And let me tell you something, guys, if you're
they all have them. They all.
Yeah, if you're that beta orbiter, you aren't gonna, your shot ain't coming, buddy. Sorry, that's the reality. Remove yourself from friend zones with women. Make your intentions clear. I'm a big firm believer when I see like a woman says, oh, friends first. She's wanting you as an orbiter. She's wanting you as somebody to take her out to dinner. She's wanting somebody, to just absolutely just fawn over her, and then you'll be kicked to the curb, and that's the reality. So,
yeah, and that's the intention part. Know your intentions before you even, look at a woman. Know your intentions. Why you're looking at her, and then, you could look at her and then establish intentions. Hey, she's got a nice butt. Her butt looks nice. You've established that intention. So whatever, but good point though. And then if she comes up with that friend stuff and you're not into being friends, she's manipulating you off your square if that's not your intention. So know what your intentions are.
What does John Boston say? I never heard the term game pickup or choosing signals, and I'm over 50. I was just myself and talked to women. Oh, cold approach that's what you do in a supermarket.
Yeah, I think a supermarket is probably one of the best places to talk to women.
Anthony just kills me. I love it. Cold approach is hitting on a broad at the ski lodge. Yeah, guys, you know what? I don't want to say be yourself, but if you do want to meet women, the best way to meet women and communicate with women is to talk to a lot of women. So what happens is when you talk to a lot of women, doesn't matter if it's, everything doesn't have to be sexual or anything like that, but talk to women in general. And then you can pick up on nuances. You can pick up on your choosing signals, whatever you want to call them, but you can pick up on attraction that way very easily. You'll know if you're, I don't want to say wasting your time, but yeah, you'll know if you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
So,
and if you talk to her and she starts sweating and then probably calls the police, you'll know, okay, that was a creepy response. Don't do that again. Try something else. Yeah. Learn from that and say, okay, that was creepy. I'm not going to do it again. Realize that didn't work anyway. That's just fun, man. That's funny.
Yeah. I think, I don't think that creepy is subjective. I think it's objective.
And John says, Anthony, cold approach is hitting up a woman in the frozen food section at Costco. How about coming out the freezer at Costco and then talking to her? Just step out the freezer. That'd be a good one. Step out the freezer, like go hide in the freezer and then pop out and be like, hey, it's a cold approach. Hi, my name's John Boston.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm no expert on this, but again, you guys, if you I think that I guess I'll say the word practice, but if you talk to women, that's how you learn about women. So. Look. What's up, fellas? I love AMS.
What a mess, and we've complicated the dating scene so much lately.
And John Boston, just so you know, I had a great conversation with AMS on the phone probably about 2 weeks ago. I haven't talked to him in a while, yeah, I really like him. He's a good guy. I think he's one of the better genuine dating coaches. And I think that a lot of guys don't think that. I know there's a whole lot of dating roach things, and I get that, because I'm with a lot of guys on that whole scene more than you know. But I think there's certain guys that are genuine. And I've talked with him, a couple times, and he's just I really like him. I think he's a good dude. I really do. And I think his content, his quality, I think there's been some infield, I guess infield is when they take the cameras out and a guy will try to do pickup or whatever like that. But I think there was some infield controversy going on lately. But I can tell you that AMS is a cool dude. I know him personally, and I appreciate him for sure. It's just like, another guy, again, like I said, guys, if you're watching, now and you want to check out somebody that's really cool, is Pat Stedman. He has a whole different vibe when it comes to dating and relationships. And he does use that a lot, vibrations and energy. And that's something that I've really adapted to. Is energy to me is like, when you learn about energy to me is like, what energy is that person giving off? I don't care if it's a friend of yours. I don't care if it's a woman, but when you meet a woman, you'll find out that the energy she gives you, you're going to be able to feel that. And there's a negative and a positive energy. So the more you practice and talk to women, I think that you're going to pick up on those energies. So.
Yeah, I have a question for the chat, for the comment section. Who is your favorite content creator?
Yeah, I'd love to hear this. Yeah, we got a few people watching right now.
Yeah, who's your favorite content creator? And if you have the space, let us know briefly why. Just a couple of words why.
Yeah.
Let us know.
So, I'm going to throw this out there. I am not perfect by any means, and I never claim to be, because I have fucked up some good relationships in my life, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But the difference between me and a lot of people, I don't always blame it on the woman. I'm very big on ownership here on this channel. And I know Jocko Wilnick says extreme ownership, and I like that. When I say ownership, that means what role did you take in the demise of that relationship? We're just talking about relationships now, but what role did you take? Whether it be with a girlfriend, a wife, or, a buddy of yours, what role did you take in that demise of that relationship? So own up to what you did. And the best thing you can do is learn from it. Don't fucking harbor it, but learn from it. But we also talked about, learning the hard way. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. So you might have to modify what you're doing, whether it's dating, relationship, it's a marriage, or it's a relationship with a buddy of yours. So.
Getting some good comments here about content creators.
Let me see here.
Johnny Cramer.
Yeah. I've had the privilege in hanging out with Coach Greg. I like Coach Greg a lot. He's a good guy. And in fact, if anybody wants to watch a good interview, it's on my channel with Coach Greg. So check it out. Meet women during a spritz. They've already hot and bothered. Yeah. Timmy says, MGTOW's freedom. Big John had the gift of explaining female nonsense or hypergamy. John Boston says, I've been watching George Bruno for a very long time. I like his content and his message and his life experiences. Just so you know, John Boston, that's my brother. Much love to my brother for sure. Muhammad says, no favorite content creator. Listen to everything and everyone and then reflect and act. Dude, that's great, man. Exactly what you should do.
That's what you
I
should
love
do.
that comment, man. Yeah. Good for you. Peg says, George B., the Daybreak Show. There's something to learn from everyone, even from the enemy. Yeah.
Learn more from your enemies.
Yeah. Coach Greg, Adam Clary, George Bruno, John Boston. I've also watched Coach Greg and AMS. Coach Greg cracks me up. His shows make me laugh all the time. Yeah, and you know what? That's important, that entertainment. There is an entertainment value to any content creator. I think that's important. I'm hoping I'm giving you guys some value tonight. Everybody watching. When I say guys, I mean that. Guys
Man,
and
women.
yeah. So,
Look who we got in the chat.
There he is.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Gonzo. Yeah, buddy.
Hey,
Cole
fatty.
Robinson. Hey, fatty. Yeah. I'll tell you what. If nobody's if anybody out there hasn't watched Cole Robinson and you're having weight issues, he's going to be a little harsh on you, but great channel. Snake Diet Wizard. I know that's on Instagram, and I don't know if it's Cole Robinson on YouTube or is it Snake Diet Wizard. So
good stuff.
Gonzo, good to see you, man. Haven't heard from you in a couple days, brother. I hope you're well. Good for you. Glad you're here. If you want to jump on the stream, there's a link in there. So if anybody else wants to jump on the stream right now and talk, so we'll probably go for another half hour at the most. So
I would say think of this like a therapy session. What are you dealing with in life? Let us know. Let us know. And I know everyone's dealing with something. So we want to engage with you about it. Otherwise, we'll just pick stuff we want to talk about.
Oh, let me address this. What happened to your Real Letters series? That was fantastic. You know what? I've got a lot of emails that I probably have to respond to, and I would like to pick that up sometime. And I wonder, Muhammad, did you send me the emails about your dad? And I wonder if that's you. I'm just curious. And I'm not sure if I addressed that, but I know I talked to you. So, yeah, if anybody doesn't know, what happened was with me is that when I start, oh, see, that's it. Okay, good. Yeah, I would love to talk to you because I do remember the email that you sent me, and I remember reading about how do I put this? It was so deep how you talked about your father and how you missed him. And I want you to know that I didn't forget about that, because reading that I thought was really cool. And I do appreciate that you sent that to me. But yeah, it would be nice to have you on sometime and talk about your dad. That would be really cool. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. I remember, I've got a good memory, just so you know, but I remember that you had talked about your dad, that he was very proud of you for going to medical school. So, yeah, I just, so everybody knows, I do read everything. And, again, we've morphed into different things, but yeah, Muhammad, that would be awesome. You know what, Muhammad, that would be awesome to have you on a live stream some night. So, send me an email. So if anybody wants to send me an email, the email I had for that particular series is called Real Life Letters, all one word, realLifeLetters@gmail.com. So,
yeah. And Peg says she always learns from me and Gonzo on Monday Night Man Hour, and I'm flattered by that, Peg. Thank you for that. You're welcome you're welcome to watch at any time. We hope to provide value. I got a few ideas I'm going to bring up to Gonzo soon for the show. So we got some little things working. Johnny, look at Johnny Cramer's comments here, and also John Boston. Yeah, I'm dealing with too many. I want to address this too. I'm dealing with too many alpha and masculine women. This babes, all I want is fit, friendly, and feminine, he says.
Mm-hmm.
So true. It's like women have believed this lie that men want, like, successful, alpha, dominant women. No, we don't. We don't want that, because that's what we are. We don't want the same thing we are. If I want that, I go call Tony up and hang out with Tony for a little bit. We don't want that. We want submission, respect, reception.
Let me interject. I have no, being a little older, and I do date women, that are we'll call them a little more mature. But I find that at my age, I don't want to support somebody. So I am attracted to a woman that has something going in her life. I'm attracted to, maybe she had to take a career, but I think that also is respectable. I don't want to downplay a strong woman, but also a strong, independent woman has to lose a little bit of her pride and ego.
Yeah.
And that's important. And when I say that, it's not a knock on women by any means.
No.
But it means let go of some of that ego, let go of some of that pride, know that you got a man that wants to treat you well and he wants the same in return. So, let go of some of that ego, and you'll find out that you have somebody that is good in your life.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a crazy observation, but what makes men great isn't the same thing that makes women great. I mean, I don't know where we missed this at, but it's what makes men great is not the same thing that makes women great. So, for some reason, it's I don't know. It's like apparently it's been bought into. Yeah, I like this comment too. I don't know, Tony, you want to tackle this one?
Western civilization has forgotten what it means to be a family because we jettisoned Christian values. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, there's a family dynamic. Just so you know, guys, I'm in a different situation in my life. I'm 58 years old, and having somebody in my life right now is different for me than having somebody in my life when I was, in my 30s. I don't, can I date women that are younger than me, way younger? Absolutely. It's not something that I want. I'll tell you why, because I've seen a lot of guys that have married women 20, 25 years younger than them. And basically they've just been taken to the cleaners after about 10 years, 15 years. I don't think a 20-year span is good for a relationship. And that's my opinion. You can take that for what it's worth.
I
think like Coach Greg says, it's great for practice. For me, I'm on the different end of the spectrum here. So
yeah, Muhammad hit the nail on the head with that. Yeah, Christian values is what's missing. Yep. I mean, that's a rabbit hole, but very true.
Peg says the fitness Alexander kind of frightened me on your show, Gene.
I'm lost. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, she's talking about on my show where I had on Thursday night. AJ Cortez.
Oh, I wonder why she said my show.
I don't know. But yeah, AJ Cortez is awesome. Awesome guy. Just love him. And the thing about AJ is that he is a fitness instructor, fitness trainer. But let me tell you something. AJ is a super smart guy for a young guy. He is more of a philosopher. The guy is a very deep thinker. And we're going to have him on again. And we're not going to talk about fitness. We're going to talk about what AJ really likes to talk about. I know that. Not that he's not really good at what he does. I give him a lot of credit, but he is a very deep thinker. He's a very smart, brilliant, amazing, I don't want to say young man, but, a lot of people are young to me now. But he's a super intelligent guy, man. I love him to death. And he's one of the guys where when you meet him in person, I've hung out with him a few times, and just a great guy. So let me look at the comments here. Women are attracted to alpha successful men. That is what they think. Let me see. If they are like that, they will attract men too. Wrong. Okay.
Yeah. Strong women are gonna attract beta males. Women that are like, I'm so successful, I'm strong and independent. Look at all my degrees, look at all my money, whatever, right? Look at my business. Guys, a real man he's not gonna find much value in that. Maybe very little. Now, beta male, he'll seek to gain your approval. He'll seek to gain your acceptance. because of that, because he's a beta male. And you have that polarity. You have the yin and yang. In that sense, he's the female and the woman is the male, or the feminine and the masculine, I should say.
Yeah.
But a masculine man is not going to appreciate that very much at all.
Yeah. Muhammad has a kind of a cool statement. Relationship can survive anything, but it can never survive lack of gratitude. Yeah. And I think it's real important that when people are in a relationship, and again, I'm guilty of this, of not, I'm about ownership, of not accepting somebody's gratitude. Let's just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring Gonzo on.
Hey,
hey,
how's it going, guys?
Yeah.
The video can start now.
Yeah, let me go through the comments here real quick.
Am I loud enough? Are we?
Yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wanna
By the
go-
way, Grim was on Monday Night Man Hour. Grim was a great guest on the show.
Yeah.
Great guest, and his wife was in the comments. Mimsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
stuff.
I knew that was his wife. Good to see you. And Grim, good to see you, man, too, for sure.
Yeah.
John Boston says, I'm not interested in strong, independent women who are 5'2" and 180 pounds. Yeah. I don't blame you there.
Yeah.
Christian values is what creates sense of purpose, meaningfulness in life. For me, my children are the sense of my purpose in your life. Good for you.
Yeah. Family's everything.
Peg says a little different when you're older, for sure. Yeah, it is. It is. I agree. I think that maybe I can help some guys that are more near my age into I don't want to say finding a relationship, but knowing how to deal with women, because a lot of times, again, women at my age, when I say my age, in the, I'll say even in the 40 to 50s range, that they've had to go out there and work and do things. So don't black pill yourself too bad when it comes to that, because we all have pasts, but that strong woman also needs a strong man in her life. So don't discount that. So
Gonzo says something that I really like. A woman's got to want to be led. She's got to want to be led.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty cut and dry, but it's so true. So true.
Well, I mean, I can't think of anything better. If anybody has something better, then please let me know. But
yeah,
I mean, seriously, I think that's the number one thing. I can think of things maybe that are, second on the list, or they get pretty close, but that's what it comes down to. I think that's if a relationship's going to fall apart, that's going to be probably why.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be one of the main reasons.
Gonzo, we dove into a nice rabbit hole. We're getting a lot of comments here. The show is kind of addressing comments, ask us anything.
Yeah.
But we dove into a rabbit hole about identity and why young men don't have an identity and how it's a problem. But it's not talked about much, and it's not seen as a problem. But I think it's a rabbit hole we can talk about. Do you think it's necessary for men to have an identity?
Yeah, I've been smoking on that because it's kind of difficult for me as an artist, right? I feel kind of out of place in the world. That's just the truth. As far as because most people, I think they think of life as well, I mean, and even just being, I don't know. There's so many avenues you could go with that, right? But I think of just about my life so far and what it's been and what I've seen other people doing. And I just feel like I'm going against the grain in a lot of ways. And I know that's how a lot of guys feel. When you go and I guess when you go your own way, right? Or you go and you just, you actually stand for something. Right now, it's popular to not stand for anything. When you actually go out,
we're talking about the square, standing on your square.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it is important to have an identity in that sense, where it's you have to stand for something. I remember somebody told me, they're like, if you want to sell stuff as an artist, or you just want to be of service to anybody, or because I mean that's how you make money, right? Is you have a service for people. But they said you have to stand for something. And I was kind of young, really young when I heard this. And I was like, what? So what do you mean stand for something?
Gotta have a message. You gotta have a message.
Yeah. And I was like, I realized in that moment that I didn't have anything to say. Like I could come up with ideas, right? Like I could be creative and like have these different ideas, but I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have this conception of like standing for like a certain value or something. Like just be a good person. Like, like it just didn't make any sense to me.
You know, I was talking to a friend today, and that was his thing, is that he doesn't like the idea of a square. He thinks that there is no real truth. And I debated him with that, not in an argumentative way, but like a learning sense. And he doesn't want truth. He doesn't want people to have a square. He kind of just wants everyone to get along. So I get that. I get that. But he also acknowledged conflict is part of life. And I think I dove down some rabbit holes for him where he could sort of come up with some new perspectives that he doesn't hear often. And I can tell by some of his reactions, he got some clarity on some things that he was smoking on. So I was grateful for that. But he also showed me some things too. It was the identity thing, the whole identity, because I don't think he wants to have. I think his identity has been crushed so many times throughout his youth that he's almost afraid to have an identity now, or to stand on an identity. So, did we lose Gonzo?
Oh, I don't know why. Here, let me bring him back.
Yeah, it just like the tab just flipped out on me there. So I heard you. So you, the last thing I heard you say was like his identity had been crushed.
His identity had been crushed at least 3 or 4 times, especially in his youth, and I think it was traumatizing to him. Not to say that's an excuse to not overcome anything, because we have to overcome many things. But I think he's gun shy with hanging on to some sort of identity now.
You're kind of lost me here. So to me, like, your identity is who you are. That's genuinely who you are. We talked about this earlier, that people get into certain corners, we'll call it the manosphere, and they lose their identity because they take on the identity of the group. Not to be confused with being in a tribe. I don't think a tribe is not your identity. You're in a tribe. We're tribal. Men are tribal. We like to be in groups.
Why would a man not like tribalism? Because my friend, he brought up an argument. He says, I don't like tribalism. I don't like it. I don't think tribalism is good. And why would a man not like tribalism?
Well, what's the difference between tribalism and mob rule? You know, I think maybe people get them confused. What were you going to say, Tony?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think, those are two different things. I think, you know, I had an issue with somebody here in the past year when I talked about my tribe. This is my tribe. Now, when I said my tribe, I think that the person I was talking to basically took me as saying, as you're the leader of the tribe. No, this is my tribe. We're all equal. So I stick up for my tribe. I stick up for the group that I'm in. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a leader, okay? But it means that we're all in this together. Am I making sense? Does that make any sense? So I think they took that as I was claiming that I was a leader, which to me is kind of a compliment too. I have no issue with that. But I think when I say tribe, to me, a tribe is guys that all work together. So, but you don't lose your identity as a man, as a person.
Yeah, Muhammad says, what do you mean by identity? What I mean by identity is the thing that you stand on, your belief system, in other words. Your belief system. And not having a square to stand on and not wanting to have an identity is a belief system. It's a square in and of itself in a way. So, you know, and this guy is against mob rule as well. He's against these social justice groups. He's against these groups because they don't allow any room for conflict. They just want to cancel. They don't want anyone to challenge. And to have something like Michael Bunker said in his video, to establish something, you got to have an opposition or it won't exist. You know, like a canon for a religion. To claim your religion is the one true religion, other religions have to challenge that for it to even exist. So that's what I mean by identity, Muhammad. So, I mean, we're just going down these rabbit holes. This stuff isn't that complex.
And the reason this really hits me hard about identities, because I've seen guys that have changed recently too.
You can change identity.
The identity of a group, and the reason they do that is because they want to be accepted. They can't stand on their own square.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's effeminate. That's very effeminate.
I'm going to identify 100% with this group. I'm gonna take on their mannerisms. I'm going to take on their phrases. I'm going to take on everything that they do. And most of the time, that's a sign of a weak or injured person.
Yeah.
Because they can't stand on their own square. They can't identify with their own personality, their own lifestyle. So I'm going to grab this other identity. I'm going to be somebody I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. My thing to say to that is keep learning. Keep learning until you find a square to stand on. Keep learning until you find an identity to what you believe in. Because I think truth, you keep learning will lead you to the truth. You know?
Yeah, you can't give up. You just keep looking.
Yeah, because once you decide, like, okay, I'm gonna stop here, you know, and then seek approval, like Tony's saying, that's feminine, very, very feminine. Effeminate, I should say. Keep learning. And that's the thing I can respect about my friend today, is that the conversation, we both were in it to learn. So he was willing to learn from me, and I was also willing to hear and learn from him as well. So great conversation too, by the way. Had a great time with him. Might have him on the show.
Also tonight, guys, just everybody in the chat, ask us anything. Ask us anything. Don't be afraid. If you want to join the live panel, click the link that's pinned to the top. It's a StreamYard link, so you can join the live panel if you want to join in. So,
yeah, let us know issues that you're dealing with, and we'll shed some light on it. Emmanuel says they're not sovereign. They hate sovereignty. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It creeps them out. But this guy was trying to find the best of both worlds. And he acknowledged that conflict, we already kind of talked about this with Tony, but conflict is a part of life. And so I said, that's pretty much it. You gotta have, you know, and I told him, I said, there was a time in my life where I was raised, and I was raised in a box. And I was raised with boundaries in a box. Well, as I got older, I tore those boundaries down and stepped outside of them. Now I'm like, oh, let me get back in here. That's wrong. And now I told him, I said, now I'm building those boundaries back up. And so I think it's necessary as men that we build boundaries, right? It doesn't mean we don't learn, and we're not going to mess up. But
the key to what we talked about boundaries, there's a difference between, like you said, building a wall and building a line in the sand. You're cutting off all communication at that point. And as men, you got to learn to communicate, because when the fucking talking stops, the shooting starts. That goes all across life. So when you build that wall, you kind of fucked yourself most of the time.
Oh, wall, yeah. Yeah, boundaries, not walls, for sure.
And think of a boundary. Think of football. Think of soccer, out of bounds. Think of tennis, out of bounds. You can cross that boundary, okay? But you know you're out of bounds. Mm-hmm. But you're able to go back into the game. So don't cut off your nose, spite your face, man. That's just it's not a good thing to do. Again, I'm open to discourse, open to conflict, open to talking. So
some of the things this guy was saying, though, was blowing my mind. I mean, it was just like, dude, what neck of the woods is that happening in? California, of course. So man, I'm glad I don't deal with that stuff, you know. And I said, boy, he's like, man, come over to California, come see us. I said, man, what you think? Look how they think of you. What do you think they're gonna think of me? You know, look at you. And they hate you. What do you think they're gonna think of me? And he's like, they would love you. And I thought about that. I said, might be right. You might be right. The Great Invasion of California, Mantadoot, Primal Man.
We haven't brought that one up in a while.
That's a classic meme.
What's that? Are my ears bleeding?
I remember we brought that up a lot, the California song. Anytime somebody mentioned California, that was one thing that we brought up was that song. So
amazing.
Just to bring a little fun to tonight's stream, guys. So that's one of my favorite songs, Tupac. I just absolutely love that. It's just a great tune. It just makes you rock, makes you move. So, But yeah, let's get the chat active tonight, guys. There's we've got about 15, 16 people in here. So throw out some questions. It's Ask Us Anything tonight.
We're getting a lot of comments.
Yeah, throw it right out there. Don't be afraid. So Mimsy says we all need to be aware of the boundaries and the consequences of crossing said boundaries. Yeah, I agree. Again, there's a difference between a boundary and a wall. So
yeah,
this is our opinions. So
yeah, and I was saying this friend of mine, he had an issue with judging people, and I said no, it's necessary to judge, not condemn. So, and that sort of blew his mind. I was like, yeah, this is very basic to me, but it blew his mind. I said, judge, but don't condemn. And I said, that's kind of in a sense saying, okay, cross the boundary, you're going to suffer, but you can also come back.
Well, maybe this is like a semantics thing, but I always think that's like discernment, right? It's not judgment. Because you call something what it is. If I call an apple red, that's not judging that apple for being red. Yeah.
It's discerning.
So I'm glad you clarified that, because I was thinking about what he said too, because I don't like to judge people, but I think, like you said, discernment that's a great word for that versus judging, because judgment is harsh. I think the only one that should judge is God. That's simple, But I think
in that sense,
I think more what Gene is talking about is discernment.
Yeah, in that sense, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like my wall is painted white here, and somebody's going to say no, the wall is blue, and I'm like, absolutely not. The wall is freaking white. Mm-hmm. So that's not a discernment issue. That's reality. So.
He's suffering. He loves California, but he's also, his social group is interesting. The people he comes in contact with. So I think it's very stimulating, but at the same time also kind of frustrating, because it's like no conflict. It's like this, you agree with this, critical race theory or whatever, right? And this is the only way. It's like, no, you're wrong. That's wrong. And they're like, no, canceled, So there's no room for conflict. And I'm like, dude, we can have conflict all day long. Me and you, we'll conflict out. I don't mind. We'll debate. We'll take it to the mat, like Grim said.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Taking it to Matt is cool. I'm okay with that. Let's
we
go.
need that. That's how we solve problems as men, is conflict.
Yeah.
That's how we solve problems.
Conflict, you're weak.
Well, if there's no room for conflict, the group is dead. It won't grow. No one can expand. Yeah,
and the conflict doesn't always have to be it's not always negative. Conflict is not negative.
No, it's not always a bad thing. It's not always personal. Conflict is not always personal either. Yeah. People take it personal. That's why people are scared of conflict. It's like, no, conflict doesn't mean a personal, vengeance. Good stuff though.
Well, what's Michael Bunker's shirt? Is it like he's having this new shirt made? It's like isn't it Resistance is Life?
Resistance is life. Yeah. Resistance is life.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure that he meant it that way, but yeah.
Yeah. It was very appropriate for what we were talking about. It's funny how he said that, and I said you should get a shirt made. He's like, oh, it's on hot off the press right now, and I was like, amazing. So, Good stuff, man. So much to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, anybody in the chat, if you have any questions you want to ask, tonight is Ask Us. We're at the Ask Us Anything part of tonight, so feel free. So, and Gonzo is now our official fact checker. I had a private fact checker tonight sending me things on how the word broad came about. We were a little surprised on that. We were also surprised on how the word dame came about. But yeah, bust out the questions, guys. Let's do it. We're going to be ending shortly. So any questions, don't be shy. Throw them out there.
Yeah, I see John Boston asked me about Joe Biden and the jobs data. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. So if I do make a video, it will at the very least indirectly be because you told me about it. So
cool.
But yeah, I don't know.
We're getting some feedback about conflict here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what it says. First, we'll go with Muhammad. Conflict is part and parcel of life. Learning to say no is the most important skill anyone can learn in life.
Mm-hmm.
Mimsy says conflict can also result in change, and people are hesitant to accept change regardless if it's for the greater good or not. Yeah.
People don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to be.
Yeah.
Yep. We talked about that as well. How people they don't want to be uncomfortable. This is why they run from conflict. This is why they don't grow.
Busting out of your comfort zone is one of the best things you can do. You know, I'll talk to guys that are like busting out of your comfort zone would be a guy like entering a martial arts dojo. That's out of your comfort zone. That's something you've never done before. Try it. If you're a man and you haven't engaged in combat sports, try it. It's going to take some time, but try it. It's a life lesson you will always love.
I think
getting your ass beat is always good for a guy. It really is.
I think the most discomfort you can have conflict wise is spiritual conflict. That's uncomfortable.
Well, we're in a major spiritual battle right now in the United States. That's for damn sure.
Oh yeah. And people are recognizing things about themselves and they're having to address stuff. And it's like, you know, me and Gonzo I think we did a video about this not long ago talking about is you know, comfort. Was it with Frank Pesci? Talked about comfort, I think it was with Frank Pesci.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. We addressed this topic. Comfort is a trap, and sometimes I even brought this up. I said, man, sometimes I feel like I might create a little bit of discomfort in my life just because I don't want to be too comfortable. Spiritual wise, not so much, you know, work, daily life, things like that, relationships. I'm not talking about that. But spiritually, I want to push myself a little more, and a little more. I don't want to get too comfortable. I think comfort and spiritual comfort is a problem.
Emmanuel says, I just took my meds. My mind is empty of questions. I love Emmanuel. He's been a part of all of our podcasts for many months now. Yeah. Great guy from Ireland. Let's give Emmanuel Godson a lot of love here, man. Good guy.
Yeah.
Super intelligent guy. Great guy to always have on the stream, man.
He is.
Incredible artist and just a good guy, man. I really, really like him. Muhammad says, yep, if I'm too comfortable, I'm not progressing in life. Yeah, that's true. We get in our comfort zones, you know. Mimsy says, busting out of comfort zone equals growth. Yep. Peg Bell says, Miga. Yeah, make Ireland great again. Yeah, my Miga. Emmanuel is my Miga.
Is it? I want to ask the chat a question too. I know this is a question Q&A for us, but is there any type of spiritual discomfort or spiritual comfort that you want to address, or spiritual discomfort? Anything you're dealing with spiritually that you know that if you address it, it's going to make you uncomfortable? Drop that in the chat. I'm curious. What do you need to address spiritually that will make you uncomfortable?
I'm not sure that I got to ask you what the question means. So,
Gonzo, do you follow?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm thinking right now for me, right?
Yeah.
You know, at the when I came in here, I mentioned how, you know,
let me pause you just 1 second.
Yeah.
That thought, Muhammad, thanks for coming on tonight, man. I appreciate you very much. I would love to have you on the channel and talk about the letters with your dad. Those were great letters that you talked about and sent me, and I do appreciate you. And that's been a while, but I do remember you very well, and I do appreciate you very much. If I'm correct, I think you live in Australia. I believe Muhammad is a doctor in Australia. And
Nice.
some really cool things about his dad. I mean, somebody who is absolutely just, you know, what he sent me about his dad, about how much, like the letter his dad wrote to him. I'd love to share that sometime. It's really cool. But Muhammad, reach out to me on my email, and let's get you on here one night. It'd be a great Thursday night. It really would.
Yeah. Blessings, Muhammad. Take care, man. Good to have you.
Thank you. Go ahead, Gonzo.
Oh yeah, where was I? I was thinking, you know, at the top of the show, I was saying how, you know, I'm kind of, you know, like being an artist because artist is really the only word I can come up with. But I really don't know what I'm doing career-wise. I don't know what and this is something that has been going on like from the beginning. I don't know what I'm doing, you know. So I may I have my values in place. I have, you know, that stuff in order. I do stand for a lot of things, whereas I didn't really stand for anything before, or I didn't even know what that meant to stand for something. But now I'm still looking at that like, ooh, what am I gonna do? You know, what am
That's spiritual conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What am I actually? Because, you know, I feel like a lot of people's identity is actually in what they do, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, or if that's just kind of the way the world is, or the way people should be. But I feel like people do have a lot of identity in their work, and it's weird for me because I don't do just one thing. I wish I kind of was that person that just did one thing, and I was just really good at one thing, and I could just focus on that. But I just find myself carried off to these different things, and I try different things out, and I, you know, see how I like it. You know, I think part of that's normal, but
no, that's great. You know, I had a long conversation with somebody last night, and we talked for quite a few hours last night, and with this person, I appreciated what this person had said about me, that there's so many interests that I have and so many things that I like to do. And I think as a man, we got to be diverse in what we do. You know, Gonzo, you're young, but let me tell you something. It doesn't end when you're older. You always want to do something more. You always want to do something better. You always want to find different things in your life.
Yeah, at your age.
Important. Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing at your age, Gonzo. It caused me a lot of grief too.
Yeah.
Caused me a lot of anxiety. Yeah.
Well, I think it's mostly it's stressful because, you know, you're trying to provide, right? You know, as a man, you're trying to provide. You're trying to, you know, you're trying to eat. You're trying to keep the lights on.
Yep.
And especially in a situation right now. Right now is the perfect time to be resourceful, or to learn how to be resourceful. At least I feel like you have to if you're going to survive what's going on right now. You know, you're going to have a backup plan. That's why I really appreciate and I respect like these guys who have lots of side hustles. Or they like, I know one guy I've mentioned him before on different streams, but his name is Val, and he's a street musician around here. And I have seen like few people with that much hustle where they do like all these different things. And this guy doesn't work a job. He doesn't have a job. He's not employed by anybody. He totally wings it, and he's been winging it for 30 years. It blows my mind. But yeah.
I've been winging it for 30 years also.
Everybody's kind of winging it.
Yeah.
I asked the spiritual question, the one that Tony was a little like wondering what exactly what I asked that because I think the first step to understanding or even knowing that you have some sort of spiritual thing that needs to be addressed is seeing it, observing it, noticing it. And that's uncomfortable in itself. That's very uncomfortable to say, okay, I have this problem, and it's a spiritual thing. It's not a physical problem. And that's very uncomfortable in itself. So for people to bring that up, I think is cool. Spiritual comfort, Psalms, yes, 100%. I mean, it could be like pride. It could be things like guilt.
Yeah, this is, Mimsy has a great point here is be thankful, for what you have. And that's really important. When people talk about blessings, I'm a little conflicted on the word blessings. I really am. I've always kind of struggled with that word. When somebody says I'm blessed, everybody knows like the worst thing anybody can say to you. What's the worst when you're in like the worst position of your life? And I think we've all been there. What is the worst thing that somebody can say to you?
When you're in the worst situation of your life?
Yeah, you're just things aren't going well.
Oh, it could be worse.
Yeah, that too, but it's also think about this.
Thanks, man. I didn't think of that.
Been there. At least you have your health.
Oh, okay.
That is brutal.
Well, Tony, you're an old man.
That is brutal. At least you have your health.
Yeah, true story though.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's something you never want to hear somebody say to you.
At least you still have your health. No.
Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? So that's all you got for me?
I'm at rock bottom. Thanks, man, for confirming.
I make sure I never say that to anybody.
Exactly. You've confirmed I'm at rock bottom.
Yeah. I will never say that to anybody. At least you have your health, because that's fucking brutal. That is not cool.
I'm still kind of smoking. Yeah, and not to change subject, we can bounce around, but I'm still smoking on what Gonzo said. Gonzo, man. First of all, 23, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know what
I forgot to.
Dude, I had no idea what I was doing. First off, also too, something you can smoke on, just something of perspective is don't get fixated, like fixated on what you have to do. Sometimes you do things. Sometimes you just go do other things. That might not be something you enjoy. 2, be resourceful. And I'm sure that's something you've already thought about, but it's a trap to be fixated on something, and that's why a lot of these guys can juggle different projects and still provide. It's because they're not fixated on one particular thing. Even if that means they got to do several things that they don't like. In the meantime, as a bridge, as a means to an end. That's a perspective. That's something to keep in mind too. That's something I've done for most of my youth.
I mean, as a man, you have to be diverse in what you do. I remember when on Thursday night when I introduced Alexander Cortez, I called him a fitness expert, fitness trainer, a speaker, a philosopher. He had a lot of titles that I can give to him. And he liked that, because there's nothing better than, you don't want to be, as a man, you don't want to be one thing. You don't want to be put into a box. So as men, I think, you need to be diverse and have a lot of things going on in your life. And I mean, let's get real. A lot of it is, Gonzo, man, you guys both find this out, I'm sure, but a lot of it, and I'll give you some advice as an older guy, is that a lot of it's financial. You want to make the money, you want to make the bank, so being able to do different things like trades and things like that. Like Gonzo, you're an artist. There's always, that's a trade. You can always sell art. You can always do something. You play music.
Yeah, but what I was saying, don't be afraid to go mow a lawn or something.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Pride is a big thing when it comes to men.
Yeah, don't be afraid to push a buggy cart or stock a shelf. Don't be afraid of any of those things. They're all means to an end anyway.
Yeah.
If you have a life work or a passion or a business, I should say, those jobs are great for bridging gaps, man. And I've learned that all my life so far up to this point, is that jobs for me have always bridged a gap to what I wanted to eventually do. But I always came back to what I did when I was your age, Gonzo. I've been in this profession when I was really young. I left it thinking I'd go get a real job, and I came back to it, and here I am. And now I feel now I have an identity in what I'm doing as far as my businesses. Yeah.
I think people like us, we're all self-employed. It's very, very difficult to go back to working under somebody's thumb. You just don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. I mean, that's something for me I could never do again.
To me, that's very risky.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel about it. I feel just like, because you still have somebody that you're working for. You still have a boss. So in a way, you have a client, right?
Client,
yeah. But it's if there's like an issue with the client, or if like there's and it depends on the industry. Obviously, it's like different for every type of job, the type of work that you do. But you can, a lot of people, they get to a place where they have options. It's not like you're stuck getting a paycheck from one person.
Exactly.
For your whole career. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. That's the perk of owning businesses. Mm-hmm. And it sounds fancy, and it's really not that fancy. You just provide a service and people pay you for it, and they like your service and they keep paying you for it.
Well, that's one of the big differences, is like people call themselves entrepreneurs. And there's a difference between an entrepreneur and somebody who's self-employed. A lot of self-employed people, I don't consider myself an entrepreneur. A lot of people say maybe I am, but it's not. An entrepreneur is somebody who has kind of all sorts of coals in the fire, where, and I'm being real here with myself, is that what I did is not entrepreneurship. It's more of I created my own job for myself.
Mm-hmm. Non-jobs, as Elliot Hulse would say.
Yeah, let's not get, people will say, like, if you're self-employed, you're an entrepreneur. That's not the case. All you've done is create a job for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But I think people love that label of entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. They love that label.
I never tell anyone I'm an entrepreneur. I always say I'm self-employed.
Yeah, what they really did is create a job for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah, self-employment is awesome. It really is. Self-employment wouldn't allow, if I was employed by somebody, I wouldn't be here tonight on a Sunday night at 10 minutes to 12. That wouldn't happen, because I'd have to get up super early in the morning, get up at 5 o'clock, so I can do what I want when I want.
And you go back to that adaptability. You got to be able to adapt as a man, because we get thrown curveballs all the time. So you got to adapt. Good stuff, though.
And that relates to everything. That relates to everything.
Everything.
Relationships. This is the issue, I think, with a lot of things in the manosphere, is that adaptation is not something that's preached. It's like, it's going to be this way. This is the way you do it. Again, we'll get back to your identity. Your identity has become this group. It's no longer yourself. And I'm finding out that a lot of people in spaces, in the manosphere and red pill, black pill, they grab a hold of that identity and they lose their own brain. They lose their own way of thinking. They adopt a group think. And that's dangerous. That's cult-like.
Yeah, of course.
It really is. It's cult-like. I think there's truths in life that we all have to deal with. I think that there are universal truths that everybody has to deal with in life. But again, when you adapt to another ideology and a group think, you really fuck yourself big time, because you do lose your identity. And I find that so much in these big spaces that we're in. I find that guys will be very repetitive. They'll quote other people. They'll never quote themselves. It's funny.
That's because these guys are into making, these content creators into making followers and subscribers and consumers. They're not interested in making leaders.
I mean, the first person ever to quote me was Primal Man. And I remember that to this day because I thought that was really cool, because it's something I said on the stream, is that it's about like things in the past. People hang on to the past. And it was funny because I remember you quoted me and I'm like, wow, somebody actually quoted me, but sometimes you just got to let things die. Like it's over. And as men, it's so fucking hard to let things go sometimes. Men and women, we don't want to let go of the past. Don't live in your past, live in the present.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, live in the present.
The past, one of my favorite quotes, a really good quote is, the past does not equal the future. Let that sink in a little bit. The past does not equal the future.
And again, when we get back to like relationships and things like that, and we can call it relationship dynamics, is that, own up to what you did in your relationship. And these are things that I still learn about all the time, is owning up to things, the mistakes you made. Don't always blame it on somebody else. Look back onto it. Be objective in your thought process. Don't look for the feel good things. Look for the things that are real, things that you did. And it's so, we are so, you know what, in these spaces, the fucking ownership is not there. It's not there. It's not there. Nobody owns up to issues that they've had in their life, issues that they caused in their life. And me, the older I get, the more I own up to things, the mistakes that I've made. And, me and Gene have had a talk about this recently, about it's okay to kind of own up to what you did, but don't let it affect you in a way to where it's going to ruin a relationship. You know what I mean? Don't let it affect you in that way. A relationship with a friend, with a woman, with your girlfriend, with your wife, whatever. Don't do that. Sometimes you gotta.
My dad likes to say, sometimes you got to eat some crow.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay, and that's being masculine. It's okay.
He said that, and that was something I didn't want to hear, but I applied the advice, and it worked out. Sometimes you got to eat some crow.
Yeah. And, learning from other people's mistakes. Again, we talked about learning the hard way on that one stream. It was a great stream because, and it's funny because I wish more people would watch that stream, because there was a lot of great nuggets in there. It is so much easier to learn from somebody else's mistakes,
Yeah.
And I know, Gene, we've had private discussions about this, and I said, you know what? Learn from my mistakes. I'll say that to Gonzo too. Learn from my mistakes. I've been there. I've done that. And it's hard to do that. It really is. It's hard to learn from somebody else. Nobody ever wants to learn the easy way.
Mm-hmm.
So learn from other people's mistakes. I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm. You said it.
But yeah, anybody in the chat, if you have any questions, ask us anything. We're going to wrap up here real quick. So any questions or any comments in the chat, throw them out there right now. Let's hear them. So, and I do appreciate everybody, Mimsy and Grim, and who else do we got here? John Boston, Muhammad's gone, Emmanuel, Peg Bell. Keep going back here. Vivian, I don't know if you're still in here. Supernome. Yeah, but I appreciate all of you coming in tonight. This is kind of a just something me and Primal Man picked up on earlier. If I don't do a Saturday night, I like to do a Sunday night. It's a little more chill. I'm sitting on my couch and relaxing, having a cocktail. So, Grim, thank you, buddy. And again, Grim, you're welcome here anytime. You're welcome to jump on the stream tonight. We're going to wrap up, but yeah, I saw you on the stream with Man here. I think it was last week. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That's the thing. We got back-to-back live streams. I'll be having a live stream for Monday Night Man Hour tomorrow night. So it's like, got to save some ideas for that show. So we'll come up with something something cool. We might actually pull a wild card out of our pocket, Gonzo.
Yeah.
Grim is a great debater, man. With Michael Foster, that was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Good. And let me tell you why, Grim, because you weren't offended. And that's a very masculine trait. People get so fucking offended on all the bullshit. Somebody says something that you don't agree with, and people get offended. But you handle it like a fucking man, and that was awesome. So
Grim's the real deal, man.
Yeah,
he is. That's been my first impressions of him.
Yeah, good guy, man.
So yeah, Gonzo, we might pull a wild card tomorrow night. We'll see. I think I might pull the trigger. I've discussed it with you already a week or so ago, but I think we might pull the trigger on it tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, buddy, you can't be a snowflake. Great, man. That's fucking awesome. That's true, man. You got a lot of balls, man, and that's what's important. Excellent. Yeah. Mimsy says, I believe this is his wife, correct? Yeah. We don't raise snowflakes in our household.
Snowflakes.
I love it, man. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And that, that's a very good trait to have. Again, conflict is okay and debate is okay. That's what makes us men, for sure, is being able to debate conflict without shooting shots behind somebody's back. So again, my DMs are always open. That's T21 Surfer on Instagram and Twitter. So if anybody wants to reach out to me, feel free. T21 Surfer. That's T21 Surfer on Instagram and Twitter. So Primal Man, how can everybody find you?
Yeah, on Instagram, you can find me if you have an Instagram account. Mantidote, like antidote, Mantidote, MAN_Tadote, TIDOTE on Instagram. And obviously, Primal Man is my YouTube name. And check us out tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Time on the Primal Man YouTube channel. And if you're not subscribed, go over there and sub so you can hang out with us for the shows. I'd love to have you. If you've never joined, please come check us out. I'd love to have you on.
Yeah, let me play your trailer that I made, or your little. I'm gonna play it real quick.
Play it.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that's a groove there. I saw Gonzo bopping in the background, man. That's kind of a nice jam. It is.
Yeah.
I made that for Primal Man for his Monday Night Man Hour. So I thought that was kind of a cool little thing that I put together.
It was. I love the tiger roar, lion roar in the background at the end. And I noticed that bottle is a bottle of scotch called Monkey Shoulder.
Yes, sir.
Like, what in the world? Anyway,
Gonzo, how can everybody find you?
Oh, Gonzo School on YouTube. That's it. Just like it's how it's spelled right there. And yeah, you can find me there. I also have a website called The Lurking Press, where I have these little booklets and I have art prints and stuff, photography, that type of thing. And I don't know. Pretty soon, I think I'm gonna put out a video. I'm gonna talk about some weird some weird stuff I've been working on to automate YouTube content creation. So that'll be weird, but there you go.
Yeah, and let's throw it out there so people can buy your artwork and you do commissions also. So how can you find that?
Yeah, I mean, you can get a hold of me on Instagram as well. Actually, I forgot about that. But I'm on Instagram at midnight.author. You can also just reach out to me through the website, so you can check that out. But yeah, that's how you can do that. So
excellent. Well, I appreciate everybody in the chat. It's been a great night, man. Something very unexpected, but I appreciate everybody that jumped in here. So we're going to end it now, and much love, honor, and respect to everybody, man. Just appreciate it. Good time tonight. Appreciate all of you. And we'll see you on this channel on Thursday night. And go to Primal Man tomorrow night, Monday Night Man Hour, and check it out. And everybody join. Let's have a good time.
Check it out, yo. Good night. Peace.